those basic top tips for an oil change. And in the meantime, we're going to double check and see how well this $200 junkyard engine is doing after 10,000 miles. Purring like a kitten, running fantastic, no problems. Tip number 1, your oil life thing. This computer says there's 48% life remaining. Never follow that thing. It usually is done some sort of algorithm based on temperature, the amount of use of the vehicle, speeds, loads, all sorts of other stuff. But in essence, always follow the 3,000 mile oil change policy. You can go up to 5,000 miles if you'd like, not too bad. Never do 7,000, never do 10,000, definitely don't do 20,000 miles between oil changes. If you do, that's how you snap timing chains. That's how you get rod knocks, lifter problems, cam problems. If you don't want any problems, always stick to 3,000 to 5,000 miles between oil changes. Mongo follows a trip. The new engine got put in, and this is the exact miles from when the engine got put in. Remember, it's a $200 engine, so did one oil change at about 5,000 miles. I think it was 4,000 change. Now we 10,000, well, 9,000 change. Time for oil change number 2. Tip number 2. If you don't know what type or how much oil to use, look at your owner's manual. There will be a spot that shows you how much oil it will take. There will also be a section telling you what type of oil to use. It'll also have some other information. For example, most people don't know every time you go to the gas station to fill up your car with fuel, you should be checking your oil. Tip number 3, make sure the engine's warm when you change the oil. Not hot, not cold. Warm. Fire the engine up, run it a little bit, couple minutes, then you can start the process. You'll know if it's warm and not too hot, not too cold, if you can rest your hand on the valve cover or the cylinder head. If you can do this without burning your hand, that's the proper temperature to change your oil. You're going to have to lift the vehicle most likely, so make sure it's properly supported, either with ramps or jack stands, however you decide. Make sure you have a nice clean bucket for the oil to drain into, because as you empty that container, you're going to want to check it for any debris. Fun story, Mongo got upset with the Snap-on guy. So Mongo bought these oil filter wrench thingies from the Mac guy, MAC. This is a 32 millimeter, and it for these goofy little oil filters. Fits on there pretty nice. And boy, does it make that job much easier. If you have this style oil filter, be sure to pre-fill the oil filter with oil. Also be sure to remove this little seal and coat the entire seal with fresh oil. Then put that seal back on before installing into the engine. If you have this style oil filter, be sure to remove this. You don't pre-fill it or nothing, but be sure to put some fresh oil around this O-ring. You can replace it if necessary. Be sure not to over-torque your oil filter. This one happens to say 25 Newton meters on top of it. Others may not, so you might have to check with the manual or some service documents to make sure you get the right torque, but do not over-torque it. On that same note, be sure to torque your drain plug in the oil pan to spec as well. If you need, you might be able to find it in the manual or a service manual. Sometimes it's written on there, but you gotta watch out. Them guys at the quick oil change places, they'll put too much torque on there, chew the threads up, and it'll never be right again. It's always a good idea to use a nice clean funnel to put the oil into. You don't have to use a funnel, but it sure does help from keeping the oil in the engine and not from spilling to the outside of the engine. Oil on the outside of the engine does not protect the inside of the engine. Engine oil is recyclable, so be sure to recycle it, and Mongo always recommend checking it to make sure there's no shiny metal chunks or pieces or nothing inside there. One of those that might give you an early warning sign to a premature failure or whatever. When you get all the oil in there, be sure to fire the engine up and let it run for about a minute. While it's running, be sure to check it for any leaks. No leaks there. And no leaks there. So we are leak free. Be sure not to forget to reset your oil life gauge, even though you're not following it. And to do that, just be sure to double check your manual if you don't know how to do it. Mongo always uses synthetic oil. And in fact, every GM vehicle, Mongo uses Mobil 1. Every Chrysler vehicle, Mongo uses Pennzoil. Hondas and foreigns, Mongo runs Royal Purple. That's just what Mongo does. You do whatever best for you. Whether it's high mileage or not, for Mongo it depends what's on sale that week. Does not matter to Mongo. It's just about the same. There are some other additives in high mileage. Whether or not it actually helps, who knows? Remember, never follow the 10,000 miles. As far as oil filter type, Mongo runs whatever's cheapest. They're all rated for engines. Yes, some are probably better than others. Does it really matter at the end of the day? No. Lastly, don't forget to make sure your car is on a level service and double check your oil level just to make sure it's up to par. Well, hopefully this video helps you if you ever wanted just the basic tips for changing oil. Well, if you like this video, be sure to like this video. If you like this video and other videos from Mongo Fix, be sure to subscribe. Mongo always working on all sorts of stuff. Mongo, thank you.